Sony is aiming to finally get its own cinematic universe off the ground. Venom, Morbius, and eventually their own Spider-Man. We know Sony has shown interest into bringing a live-action Spawn to the big screen, but a Spawn live-action reboot has not happened yet. Now the creator of Spawn says it's possible the three could share a cinematic universe. We currently live in one of those realities where Spider-Man fans are constantly divided on Spider-Man no matter what version they're talking about. We live in a reality where Venom is a huge blockbuster successful franchise by itself, and we live in a reality where Spawn can't get off the ground as a $5 million film, but Spawn can fund an action figure for the same amount. So, it's an interesting time, right? Anyways, Todd McFarlane, this might be the first time I've actually said that right and haven't called him Seth MacFarlane, because that's the guy that makes Family Guy and the highly criminally underrated Orville, which you should all watch. Anyway, Todd, he's been doing the rounds, hyping up Spawn, because obviously he's still involved with that character. For many of you that don't know, or maybe you've forgotten, or maybe you're just too young, Todd actually had a pretty impressive, in the long run I would say, on Spider-Man in the 90s. Of course, he's most famously known for his spaghetti webs, as he says, and that's one of those things that kind of sticks out when you see it. You're like, oh, that's a Todd drawing. I can spot that from a mile away. Now we know Sony is trying to get their own cinematic universe off the ground that does not involve Disney and Marvel. Of course, Venom was a big step towards this, and then Morbius is going to really be a proving ground. And of course, they're developing various other projects like a Mysterio origin film or something along those lines, Kraven, who knows what. Now Spawn ties into this because he's had trouble getting off the ground with a new film. And Todd has said that he's talked to multiple studios and there's been interest with some of them, but nobody's committed to it. Now Sony has been one of these studios that's been looking at the film, and I've talked to somebody that's told me that they are in fact talking, but nothing has been worked out as of this recording, and if something does get worked out, I assume we'll hear about it at some point. Now when Todd was openly asked about a potential crossover, he says, it'd be up to Sony, but he would agree to do it. So a Spider-Man, Venom, and Spawn film crossover is something that is possible. Now when you really think about this, I think money would be right there, right? If Spawn can secure a decent budget, I would say maybe like $25 to $50 million for a lower budget, and makes like $300 to $500 million, that's a victory. And if Sony's behind it, again, they need all the help they can get with franchises, considering they don't have many. And they're a struggling studio. Spider-Man is big for them, but that's a shared property. And Venom is big for them, but, the jury's still out for Venom 2. And then when it comes to Morbius, that's a big question mark. So what happens, nobody knows. And if Sony saw the opportunity, they could feasibly make the three crossover in some sort of way. Now, obviously, what's limiting this is currently, we don't know, how viable Spawn is as a franchise, and that's kind of the big takeaway from this to me personally, is that nobody wants to give it a chance. And the last time they talked about the Spawn movie, it's a Spawn movie where Spawn is only seen in it for about 2 minutes. So again, that doesn't seem like what people want, because you get Spawn because, well, you're supposed to flash the character everywhere because he sells from his coolness factor. So again, it'd be kind of weird, but I think Sony will definitely consider this because they need all the help they can get.